anything to make us look like we're sounding,
Like we know what we're doing?
Like we know what we're doing. Hey, 7:44 on a Friday, 10th day of July, and hey, it's already a hot one, 81 degrees in the valley, and we're looking at a high today of about 98.
Speaking of heat, things are going to be heating up here very shortly in Yakima City Council elections because ballots go out in the mail on the 14th. People should have them by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at the latest.
That's right.
And I think you're going to see in that run between there and August 4th a lot more activity, campaign signs, campaign materials, all that sort of stuff starting to show up as the sprint for your vote gets underway. And our coverage, there's an awful lot of folks to talk to. We've got invitations out to all of them. And the first responders are in, as they say. District number 2 is one of they're all newly created, I guess you would say, because we now have 7. But there are, 1, 2, 3, 4 folks running.
That's right.
Avina Gutierrez, Maud Scott, Edgar Moreno, and our guest, Pablo Gonzalez. And good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Pablo, doing good. Doing good. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Glad to have you here. A chance for the community to get to hear a little bit about you. They're going to see your name probably and know want to know who you are and what you're about. Interesting this time that it's just District 2 voters, but ultimately our take is that your work on council will benefit all of Yakima.
Sure.
And so they all need to know what you're about. So Pablo, tell us a little about yourself, your time in the valley, your family, your work, what you do, a little bit about the backstory here.
So a lot of people might remember me from running for the legislature in 2012, and I'm the same guy. Just graduated from college a couple years ago with my political science degree in communications, and just came back to work at a local business, and wanted to come back and see in what capacity I would be able to serve my community. And this opportunity came up, and I'm always willing to help, and I think that we should have people that are experienced and people that know politics, and also people that know business in order to help the city progress.
When you got your degree in political science, did you think at that point that a political career of some kind was part of what you wanted to do?
Well, when I ran for the legislature in 2012, I was actually going into my senior year in college.
It's like your thesis at the same time, right?
Yeah, really.
I was, actually. It was interesting. I had a professor that was actually running for state representative as well, which was kind of cool because, I'd be in class and I'd be learning a lot about economics and a lot about, free market economics, and it was very interesting, especially having an intelligent teacher.
Sure. Your after-class conversations were different than everybody else's after-class conversations. Single guy?
Yeah.
Married, kids?
Yeah.
So I recently bought a home in District 2, and, I decided to take the step just because the interest rates right now are pretty low compared to the levels they've been in the previous years. And, me and my girlfriend moved in, and we're taking the next step in our relationship, and, seeing if everything works out.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Family from the valley?
Family is from the lower valley. I grew up in Zilla and went to Central, and then graduated, came back to Yakima, and been here ever since.
All right. Well, you have probably more political experience maybe than most of our candidates that we'll talk to as a result of your run, maybe a greater understanding of the details. A lot of people that get in clearly and reasonably don't really understand the nature of the job until they really get in it. They just know they want to serve. What would you say your understanding, how would you clarify or qualify the job of a city council person? What do you see the job is to do what?
Well, the job of a city council person would be to allocate resources towards different departments, different projects within the city, whether it be economical or social. So, it really covers a lot. I mean, that's why politics is kind of one of those things that not very much people want to get involved with, because you have to incorporate a very broad scale of issues, and people just look at you through one little small microscope.
Yeah, they sure do. But you're right. It does affect virtually every aspect of life, from taking your garbage out in the morning to, the road you drive on to work to get home at night. So, okay. Let's see. Let me ask you this. Lance, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, What skills and ability? Because the next question was kind of, why are you running? In a sense, you've kind of answered that. But what kind of abilities and skills do you bring to this job that you think will make you an effective council person?
Yeah, well, I grew up in the area, and I didn't grow up, I guess you would say, with a silver golden spoon. I worked hard and growing up in the fields, and decided that wasn't the job for me. So I decided to go to school, and I didn't expect to go to school, but the economy, the downturn in 2008, 2009 really encouraged me to go and get a college degree, because technically there was no other options. And I think my upbringings and my experience in school, my previous campaign, I really kicked butt, compared to the previous candidates. And I think that this is a good step to start a little bit more local and learn the local community and learn the people in Yakima and see what I can do in order to make Yakima a better place.
Now, do you own a local business?
Yeah, I do. So I own a painting business, and I work for a private business as an account manager, and which is also one of the reasons I'm running, because I'm a business person. I want to be able to bring businesses to Yakima. Right now we're competing against Union Gap, because Union Gap is a very pro-business city, and I want to be able to create that type of environment here in Yakima, so people have to weigh the odds. They don't just decide Union Gap is the place to go.
Give them an option. Make them have to think before they pick a spot to go.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Okay.
And I want to create business incentives. I want to be able to help business communicate with them to be able to abide by the law, but also be able to be successful in business. I don't want to hinder business or create any type of overregulation.
Good for you. Question would be about the districting system. Right now, there are 4 districts. District 2, which you're running for now, would have fallen in under the old District 1, I believe. Did you ever meet the representative? I mean, when you were living, did you know who your representative was? You ever talk to him about anything?
Not necessarily. I did apply for multiple committees. Never really got assigned. I tried to check out different committees that I can potentially join, but it wasn't very inclusive, I guess, in my eyes, and that's one thing that I want to change and try to get more experienced people, and not necessarily that the people right now aren't experienced, bring more experience and more diversity into local government and local committees as well.
So business, would you like to see the marijuana ban overturned, the retail ban in the city?
See, well, I was talking with KIMA last night, and I personally think that the voters should decide, and I think that ultimately, Yakima voted against it in 2012. The stigma has potentially somewhat gone away, which could bring it up to a very close election. So I'd just rather let the people decide, and that way I don't have to really deal with the issue. Personally, I have nothing against marijuana, but I don't want to push that on the residents of Yakima if that's not what they desire.
What would you say, in your assessment, one of the measures that news people always do is, best, worst, biggest, smallest. It's, it's just a simple, silly way to characterize things. But what would you say is the best thing about Yakima, and what's the biggest challenge facing Yakima? By the way, we're talking with 2nd District candidate Pablo Gonzalez, one of 4 folks running in District number 2. And we appreciate your time, Pablo. So thanks for being here. So,
thank you, guys.
Best thing about Yakima and biggest challenge facing Yakima?
Well, I love the food, My girlfriend always gets mad because I try to eat Mexican food every day.
Yeah.
I tell her, well, I'm Mexican.
Hey, look, if it works, why rock it, right?
Yeah. And the worst would be, economic.
So wait a minute, the food's the best thing? I mean, come on. Okay.
But yeah, we got a lot of small businesses, hole in the walls that are definitely good.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know that. You got to check out more of those hole in the walls because they are good.
Definitely.
Right, yeah.
And tag along with me, I'll show you.
Oh, okay, all right.
The worst thing would probably be economic development. I mean, I know our structure our tax base has grown over the past few years, but the economy has also grown, and I want to be able to bring more businesses and create more jobs in Yakima, so more people are able to have a job if they want one, and more people are able to sustain themselves and live a meaningful life.
All right. There's some items that are in motion. You don't have to go into a lot of detail on all of these. You addressed one of them already, but there are several things that have sort of been put into play by council, and you, if you would win, would be inheriting. So let's just give you get a couple of quick reactions. What's your take on the plaza as you understand it?
So the plaza, it's a huge project, and David, nothing personal, but right now I don't think that it's the best plan, especially, racking up, a $14 million bill. Obviously, some of it's going to come from private entities and everything like that. But, I think there's other places we can invest that money. I mean, our local pools, our infrastructure. I feel like there's other ways that we can definitely increase the infrastructure in our area and just make Yakima a nicer place. Develop North first,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
One of the main things I want to do is take down that Palm Springs of Yakima sign and make a awesome one, to make it look like the actual Palm Springs of Yakima.
All right.
Well, that's a private sign. You work with a private guy, not the city.
Mr. Lukehart might sell it to you. We saw him at lunch yesterday. So,
and that's putting, giving resources to small businesses.
Yeah, right on.
What's your general thoughts briefly on public art? Mm-hmm. There's been some, talk about other public art projects. Should the Million Plaza be touched? Bins of light, that whole thing. Where do you stand on public art in general? So,
personally, I like public art if it makes sense. Sometimes you go into the cities and you're like, what the heck is that? And then you're like, well, it costed us $150,000. So, so figuring out things that are actually attractive and cost effective is something that, business people and people that want to save taxpayers' money do. And personally, I work for a company that manufactures wood products. So bins, the lights and bins, that's kind of cool. I like it, and I think that it's Martin Luther King, right? It's going to be on Martin Luther King.
Yeah, on the underpass.
Yeah, on the underpass. Yeah, mm-hmm. The underpass needs a little bit of light, so. I think that it'd be nice and it'd create some type of attraction, get people to drive down that street. It's a one-way street.
That's right.
So, that's one of the things that you have to definitely travel around, because I have definitely turned into there one time and it was not.
You weren't going that. Well, you want to develop North First, and of course, North First Street traffic will see that as they come by. Public safety. How do you think we're doing? Police.
So public safety, right? That's one of the issues. That's on a lot of people's mind. I want to create a city where people feel safe. I want to work with law enforcement to give them the resources necessary to fight crime. I also want to be able to use different methods that other cities are using to fight crime, so we can find the most effective ways. In Yakima, the shootings are one of those things that just, it really, really scares people when somebody gets shot in the car right down the road or at the car wash,
Totally shakes your confidence.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things that I plan to focus on, and public safety is actually my top issue, and I definitely want to work with the police department in any type of way to be able to reduce crime and to fight gangs. And I think we can do that. We can continue progressing.
Excellent.
Pablo Gonzalez, thanks for coming in this morning. We appreciate it, guys.
One last question, if I may, Lance. And it's because we got about 2 minutes ago.
Good.
And this is the issue that in many ways has motivated some of the folks who are running. Is by opportunity. We have 7 seats all open. First time in 40 years that's ever happened before we changed our system. And yet there's a case out there that's, hanging over this that could change all of this. How would you describe your understanding of how we got here and what's waiting out in the wings in terms of lawsuits?
So my understanding of the lawsuit was that, there was not an avenue for candidates with Latino surnames to get on the city council. And, I've seen the disparities in the way. I mean, there's been arguments on both sides whether, we've actually had qualified candidates and we haven't had qualified candidates. And then there's also doubt of, having the experience necessary. But personally, I think that, overall, this has created an opportunity for the residents of Yakima to have a lot more local representation because they have to elect the city officials within their districts. So, unfortunately, I'm sorry, Dave, but I
hear you.
I hope to create that type of inclusiveness in city council and be able to help anybody within the district and within the city if elected. And the understanding on this case is just that it's costed the city a lot of money. Luckily, we got it down $1 million, and that would have been one of my main things is definitely negotiating that lawsuit.
Well, we just voted to continue to appeal that decision so that there's a chance that it could come down even more depending on what happens with Texas. So, but you see it as having created this opportunity for what will be more grassroots and connected service. Is that a fair way to wrap it up since we're running out of time here?
More choice for people, I guess, as well.
More choice. There's a lot more choice. Incumbent advantage is definitely one of the things that,
tough to overcome.
Tough to overcome. So right now is an opportunity for people to go out and vote and try to meet the new candidates and vote, and hopefully they can vote for me.
Pablo Gonzalez, thank you for your time, sir.
Hey, thanks,
nice
guys.
getting to know you, and if you happen to win in the primary, we'll love to have you back and continue our conversation.
I'd love that. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Fox News underway.